I just wanted to know about your last fight against, I think, Cedric Rossy, I believe.
Derek Rossy, yeah.
Yeah, Derek Rossy. How did you see? How was your post-fight thoughts about the fight?
Rusty. I was a little rusty. But I'm glad it's done now. So I'm back in. When I felt a little rusty. I'm good.
You're breaking up, I think, Bermane. Yeah, the connection's pretty bad. You're breaking up. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay, just 1 second.
Sure.
Can you hear me now?
A bit better.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
I felt good. I felt good, but I was a little rusty.
Okay.
You know how it was my first fight in the gym, so. But it's done now. I feel good. I'm back in training, so we're looking forward to get back in the ring in January.
Nobody's been able to see the fight from the UK, so I've only heard reports. The reports were, the first round you got dropped, then you got up, and then you put some blows on Rossy, and you won the fight. But the impression, and from what I've read, and I can't see because I can't judge anything apart from reports. The reports are saying you did win the fight, but again, it was a hard fight for you. It was a back and forth fight. What are your thoughts?
No, it wasn't a hard fight. It was more, like I said, I was rusty. And then actually when the drop happened, it wasn't really a drop. It was he hit me in the eye, and I kind of like closed my eyes. But then when you close your eyes, and then I think it was coming. I thought it was coming back with a left hook, so I kind of like ducked and then lose my balance and fell down. But when you fall down, even if you would throw a little jab and I'm going down, it's still knocked down.
Right.
I was never hurt. It was just more of a my balance that I lost when I ducked because I thought he was going to follow up with left hook after his right hand. And if you see it, it's a right hand up there that kind of like pushing me. It's nothing really, but the referee got to do his job and count.
Okay.
I was more frustrated that it happened like that, But hey, I got up and then I think for 2 rounds I was a little frustrated of the knockdown of how it happens. It took me about 2 rounds to get my frustration. Start working on the body. I got the W, but like I said, I was more rusty than anything. But the rust is done now. I'm back in the gym. Like I said, we will be back in January.
Well, that's good to hear. The other report was people are saying that you didn't look as good. You looked heavier than when you fought Wilder, and you haven't looked as good since the Areola fight. So, what are your thoughts on that? Is that again down to rust?
No, I mean the heavier the weigh-in was at 7 p.m.
right
at night. I was up at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So when I got up at 2:41.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I know I'm in shape. I don't have to starve myself like I did before to wait for the weigh-in and then eat after.
Right.
But there was no way I was going to go the whole day not eating, not drinking.
Right.
So I want to eat, and I ate the breakfast, nothing heavy, but then I went in and got my Ivy. And the Ivy, is like my heavy is heavy.
Right.
But that's how I got to 254. But when I woke up in the morning, I was actually 240.8, 241, 240.8. But then I decided to go and eat and have a regular day.
Right.
I could have just not eaten the whole day and wait, but then I'm not going to do that anymore. That's what I used to do. I used to just wait for the weigh-in and not eating, So
Right.
I don't think that would have been good for my body. So I went and eat. I had breakfast and lunch. Nothing heavy, but
Right.
I guess because after my breakfast, I was actually 245 after the breakfast. But then I got the IV done. The IV that's about 4 or 5 pounds.
Right.
And I drink
What
water. And
for fight
that was
fans?
it.
For fight fans and people who don't know what IV is, can you explain what that is, Bermane?
Well, IV it's due to my the last fight I was dehydrated.
Right.
It's a way to get it's a bag. It's like a little bag. It's basically a one bag of IV is basically it's 4 liters.
Right.
So it's a gallon of water inside your body.
Oh wow.
So let's say if anybody knows how big a small water bottle is,
Yep.
a liter, that's 4 of them in your body.
Okay.
So that is heavy. That's about 4 or 5 pounds.
So that would blow you up a bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that explains that one. See, so I've only got off reports, and when there's no video footage, all you got to do is ask the person to find out what it is. From Derek Rossy's point of view, he thinks that he won the fight, or he thought it was the fight that was a bit wide. Yeah, he said that you were a good fighter, that you punched really hard, and they said they were working on things in the gym, that they saw weaknesses in you. That's how he was able to get knocked down in the first round, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, most people, when they get a knockdown, they always think they'll automatically won the fight. If you watch the fight, I was the one that was making the fight happen because he kept running, and running don't. I mean, you can run, but you actually gotta. You did some good thing, but not enough. I was the one that was making the fight happen.
Right.
I was pushing the action. I was the one throwing the heavier shots.
Right.
And even if you look on the scorecard that I got after, all the judge gave me the first round.
Right.
Because it was a 9-8. It was a 9-8 round, but for him, the 9-8 was because of the knockdown.
Right. Okay.
So,
Okay. Let's talk about. There's something I want to talk to you about, and it's not about you per se, but certain fighters we saw on the weekend. I mean, you didn't see it, but we saw a fighter from the UK that fought in his 4th world title shot. He had the same trainer for 4 world title shots, and a lot of people think that it's because of that trainer why that fighter has now failed at world level. They have been so close at world level, but the tactics and game plans have been shocking. Now, for your career and for you now coming back, do you feel that your trainer still has what it takes for you in your career to become world heavyweight champion again?
Of course.
Okay. What makes I'm asking all fighters this, not just yourself, but what makes you have that belief in your trainer?
Well, I mean, basically, from when I left the amateurs and turned professional, I mean, House is the one that teach me how to throw a jab and how to use my jab and how to not really to only fight like a heavyweight, but just throwing bombs, and he really showed me how to move. And we were still doing that, and these are the things. In life, whatever you do, the things that you do, you got like a sixth sense or inside you that's telling you, okay, this is wrong, or this is not for me. Right. And that hasn't happened yet with me in the house. So I believe that me and him could do it again. We could climb the ladder again, and this is never had the thought of leaving down the house, and this is what I'm going to end my career with.
Okay.
So I don't. But that's not. I'm not saying that I cannot bring anybody else in.
Right.
You know, if I have to do that, then I got to look out for me. This is my career. I only got one career.
You're the one taking the punches.
But
yeah.
Right, but me getting rid of House, or no, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
House will always be my head trainer.
Yep.
If House needs help, then we're gonna get help. But my main trainer will be House, and that's who I want to be my main trainer.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. It's fantastic. Loyalty in this sport is. Somebody once said to me, "If you want loyalty in boxing, buy a dog." But there are some loyal people.
Yeah.
There are some loyal people.
I'm kind of like that too. So I believe. I mean, what we do in the gym. You know, I had. Let's say people that was doing my conditioning and stuff like that, and that happened to me, where I felt like it was the wrong thing to do.
Right.
And these are people that I've been with for the past 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I felt that, but I never felt that with House. And even if I felt that with House, I would never. The House is not. It's not just business with me. House. You know, House is like a older brother to me.
Right.
You know, so I would never get rid of House. And like I said, if we need to bring somebody in for help, I'm all for it. But me to put the House on the side and have somebody take over, no, that's not going to happen. But if he decides and I believe that he knows what's good for me, and if he sees that he needs help, then let's do it. You know, I don't have any objection when it comes to that.
Fantastic stuff to hear there from you, Bermane. I want to talk about a name, Mark Demore. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Now, your name was mentioned by Mark Demore as a sort of, because had you retained your title against Deontay Wilder, Mark Demore said you would have had to fight him next, according to Don King, because Mark Demore was in London promoting his fight with the Haymaker David Haye, who comes back on January the 16th. Did you know anything about that?
Right. Never heard of that.
Oh, so it's the first time you heard this as well.
Never heard of that.
Well,
I mean, maybe right. What was it? Maybe before the fight with Deontay Wilder.
Yes.
The only time I heard his name was because I had an option to fight Deontay,
right,
and they gave me an option to fight him.
Right.
You know, and I picked Deontay.
Right.
So that's the only time that, because I could have went in and have an option and fight Demore.
Right.
And that's the only time I heard about it. And this was maybe a year ago.
Right.
But I chose Wilder, and I just took my mandatory. You know, that's the only time I heard about Mark Demore. I mean, when he was with Don King, when earlier in my career, we used to fight on the same show.
Right.
And that's how I know him. But other than that, me fighting him, the only time I ever heard about a possibility of me being in the ring with him was probably a year ago.
Okay, so at least we've got that there. The David Haye comeback. I know your name was linked with him quite a few times. The Haymaker's back on January the 16th. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, I like David Haye.
Yeah.
David Haye, he's I met him I think maybe a year ago in London.
Yes,
when,
of course. I was there with you when you did that.
Froch fought I forgot what's the name.
Groves. We were there together.
Yes.
I was there when it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I met him. You know, cool guy, very respectful guy. I think I took a picture with him, and everybody started all kinds of rumors, you know.
Yeah.
But no, respectful guy. Small heavyweight with a lot of power. I think it's good for boxing. Why not? I mean, the he was a cruiserweight champion for a long time, and it's good for boxing that he's back. And I think he fights Jamori.
Yeah, he does.
I just seen that. This morning. David Haye should have no problem. I think that Haye will stop him within 6 rounds.
Right. While we're on the subject of heavyweights, and this is your division, you're an expert on it. There's a little fight that's happening on the weekend in Germany with your favorite heavyweight Tyson Fury against Vladimir Klitschko.
Right.
Anything changed in the Stiverne?
I don't. You know, listen. I have little hope for Fury.
You have little hope, meaning?
Not the little hope, because I don't see him. I don't see this happening. I don't see him beating Vladimir. I don't see it.
Right.
I don't see it. But I would like for him to win. It would be great for him. I mean, why not? You know, it would be one of the greatest achievements for him. But I just don't see it. But I'll be more than happy for him if he does.
What are your reasons why? I've just finished talking to Abel Sanchez. What are your reasons why you don't think Fury wins this fight?
The reason why, excuse me?
Yes.
One more time?
Yeah, the reason why you don't think Fury wins the fight.
The opponent he faced, he's been dropped a couple times by little guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, he fights the number 1 heavyweight today.
Right.
You know, a tall, big, muscular. I sparred Vladimir a couple times. I know I've experienced his right hands, and
what are they
I
like?
don't see it. I mean, it's not the hardest guy that hit me, but it could be it can make some damage, but it's not the hardest. It's not the hardest person that I spar with.
Right.
You know, but I don't, because Fury fought Cunningham. He got dropped by Cunningham. He got dropped by a couple guys. But Fury got up.
I know. We had the same conversation with Abel Sanchez. The same thing I said to Abel Sanchez. Same thing he said to me. Literally, you're saying the same thing as well. The Cunningham thing. That was in my mind.
Yeah.
The Cunningham thing. How can you get off? How can you get knocked down by Cunningham and then expect to fight someone like Klitschko? That was what was in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Wow. Let me give you.
I'm not sure. It should be. I mean, the first few rounds should be very entertaining. You know, but I think Klitschko jab is going to be a huge. His jab and his left hook is going to be really hard for Fury to deal with.
Wow. Okay, that's fair enough. The guy that people said you were going to fight, King Kong, Luis Ortiz. Remember him?
Right.
He's now fighting. He's now fighting Bryant Jennings.
He's not. Oh yeah. He is.
So, what are your thoughts on that fight?
Wow. I would go with Jennings.
Okay.
Unanimous decision.
That's what Sanchez said. Well, it seems that you and Abel Sanchez must be on the same telephone line, because he said exactly the same thing. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, no, Jennings. I mean, if you talk about who's the stronger,
yes.
I would go with Ortiz. Definitely the strongest.
Yes.
But I think that Jennings is more of a slicker fighter. Uses legs. The reason why I say that, because the way he fought Klitschko. Yeah, he actually tried and came with a nice game plan when he fought Klitschko. But Klitschko was just the stronger But from what I've seen is his past fight, Jennings, he's more of uses his body really, really good. It's pretty much he's not flat-footed like Ortiz is,
Right.
and he throws a lot of punches. But I don't think that he will knock him out, but I do think that he will win the fight by UD.
Wow. Okay. Anthony Joshua, you know who he is?
Yes, sir.
So, against Dillian White.
Wow, I don't know him.
Right.
I never seen him fight, but I heard about him.
Okay.
From what I heard, I mean, he's a good fighter, and he's a good fighter. But from what I don't know. I would go with what I know. And I would pick Joshua.
Okay. And so the next step on the ladder, you say you're going to fight in January.
Yes,
realistically, do you think you're going to be allowed to get another shot at the heavyweight championship of the world?
Sir.
I'm not saying.
January.
I'm not saying.
Okay,
I'm not saying you're not good enough.
Listen, dude. I was offered a fight in for January 16.
Oh.
In New York City. So you do the math. But I mean, there's nothing for sure yet. So that's why I'm back in the gym right now. So, hey.
Wow.
So we don't have to say no names and but let's just say that January 16th in New York, I'm supposed to be in the ring.
Wow.
Whether it's the one I want or whether it's not the one I want, but I will be fighting January 16th. Okay. This is what was offered to me. So I haven't had any papers yet. I didn't sign the papers, so it's up in the air.
But what would be if it was who I think it could be that you could be fighting? What would be the intentions of them fighting you? If they could get a voluntary and an easy voluntary, unless they think you're an easy voluntary.
Hey, you know what? I don't really care about how they see me. All I want is get in the ring. That's all I want.
Wow.
How they see me, the title they want to give me, or whatever it is. If I'm an opponent, so be it. Just getting me back in there.
Are you concerned? If it's the same person, are you concerned that the result would go the same way, or do you think you can rectify those things?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No. It won't be the same. I could promise you that. I bet my life on it.
Okay. I'm not going to say no more. I'm just going to wait and see how this all plays out.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I'm waiting to see. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen.
But you see, the thing is, Bermane, when you've been heavyweight champion of the world, I think there's a certain thing that says, you know what, either you're in the full camp, meaning people like you and they want you to be champion again, and they see you're marketable and they do that, or they think, well, no, we don't really want any of him. He's too dangerous. Not great market. You can't really market him. He's too dangerous. Let's avoid him. Let's shut him out. Where do you think you stand in that sort of pecking line? Are you? I
mean, you know what? When you're Richmond, that's the reason why I picked him. I mean, I could have went and fought somebody else and not fight him, like he's doing, like Wilder's doing right now, and then avoiding Povetkin. You know, I could have did the same thing, but I picked him. You know, I picked the one that was right after me. You know, So I believe in any champion, whether it's heavyweight or whoever, if you champion, you go down the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 100, 99, 98, 97. You don't go backwards. You go from 1 to 100.
Well, I heard that the IBF #1 contender, Glasgow, was being considered.
Well, I don't know. I don't think they, like you said, I don't think they want to take any risks. They know what they have. It's not going to last long. So, I mean, the last 2 fights he fought, that was not close to be or worthy of being a heavyweight bout for the world championship.
Of course, I understand
To
that.
me,
I want to
to
close.
me,
I want to close on something here, Bermane, and it's something that I get on my YouTube channel quite a bit. And I don't know if you watch any of the interviews we've done afterwards, and go back and watch the interviews and read the comments on YouTube. But I get 1 or 2 people on YouTube. They leave their comments and they say things, and I thought I'd ask you straight out. Certain fans say, "Oh, I've met Bermane Stiverne and he's not been very nice," or "I've met Bermane Stiverne and he's a really nice guy," or "I've met Bermane Stiverne and he's antisocial." What is Bermane Stiverne like when he's out in the public and he's not boxing and he's at the gym? What are you like, Bermane? I mean, I've met you and I think you're a great guy, but what are you really like?
I'm just like you met me. I didn't even know it was you. So you came in. So you come in and say hi to me. I mean, I know. What you see, but before you come and talk to me, probably will scare you. But once you talk to me, it's nothing. This is the person I am. I pretty much have a mean mug everywhere I go, but that's just who I am. The mean mug don't necessarily means that I won't talk to anybody. Any fans that come and say hi to me or take pictures, I always go out of my way and do that. And some other, I could see some other, they want to, but they kind of like, they're a little scared, but that's their perception. So I can't really, people got their own, but I don't never ever disrespect any fans that came and talked to me or asked me for anything. That never happened.
Okay, I'm glad. I want to hear it from your end because I always like to talk to the person.
Pretty much when we always spoke on the phone for maybe 2 years before I met you.
Yes.
I didn't even know. I didn't know it was you. When you walked to me and you're like, "Hey, it's me." I say, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?"
Yeah.
And that's always the same attitude I have with everybody.
Right. Of course. But
some of them are intimidated. I mean, they kind of like scared to come, or maybe he's a big guy. He looks like he don't talk to nobody. I mean, this is pretty much how people sometimes they because I actually had that one a few times when somebody tried to come to me, but then their friend came and talk to me, and then they were like, "Oh, my friend, he saw you the last time, but he was scared. He was scared because he thought that she didn't talk to him." Then I met his friend. So this is sometimes people are just intimidated by me, But that doesn't mean that I don't interact with people, because I do interact with people.
But man, I really appreciate that. I really do. And I have to say this. Since I first started talking to you till like now, we've been talking quite a while now. Before you were champion, when you were champion, after you've been champion, and your quest to become champion again, I think that you've opened up a lot more. Because when I first started talking to you, it was like, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah. And like people say, Bermane Stiverne, you're talking to why'd you talk to this guy? He don't give you no answers. Why'd you bother? I'm like, no, Bermane's cool. So like now people are kind of saying,
I mean, that's the fact that we met in person helped a lot too.
Yeah,
it helped a lot.
It does help.
It helped a lot because sometimes sometimes there's not just like the job that you do with the media.
Yes.
You got some good ones like you, and you got
some
other ones that's like jackass. And I mean, I'm not gonna be
you don't
nice
need
about
to.
it.
We know.
Sometimes
we know.
Sometimes they do ask me questions, and I'm like, why would you ask me questions like a question like that when we on air and when it's live? You know, it doesn't make any sense. And they know they ask me a question that makes no sense. You know, or to have me put me on to back me up against the wall, or to throw somebody else under the bus. I mean, I don't think it's cool. You know,
it's not nice, is it?
And you know, if we're doing an interview, let's do an interview for the fans, not to throw people under the bus or to back me up on the wall. You know, I don't think that's cool.
I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And the more I do interviews like this with people like yourself, people get to know who you are a lot more than just these soundbite interviews. Because people judge you sometimes on 3 or 4 minute interviews, Bermane. They're like, oh, yeah, he said that in 3 or 4 minutes. Well, that's Bermane Stiverne. And like, oh, he's got no personality. But then you really need to take the time to get to know somebody. So that's why I do interviews with you with this amount of time, so people can get to know what you feel about different things, not just the same old things all the time.
Right, but then they wonder why I got when they ask me questions and I only have one word. I have one word because of your type of questions, and you know, I'm still being respectful and I answer the questions, but they're just going to be short. I'm not going to have a sentence or a whole story for you. It's just going to be short and sweet, and then we're done with it. That's how I am. I mean, I'm not going to fake anybody or pretend I like somebody. If you're coming at me and you giving me some type of if you ask some type of questions that don't make no sense, or you trying to be funny with your questions, I don't think that's cool. Right. You know, because I do know, like I said, like I do know, like you got questions, or even you know what it is. It's not the question; it's how you ask the question.
Right.
You know, there's ways to ask questions. Absolutely. You know, but sometimes they just want to be jackasses and just ask you any kind of question that they don't even supposed to ask you.
I understand. I totally understand that. In closing, I wanna share this little moment that might make you laugh. In a press conference just before you went to fight Deontay Wilder, you said, "I'm gonna catch a case." You remember you said that?
Hello?
Hi, do you remember when you said that?
No, right? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I've said I've got something funny to tell you at the end, right now, to end with.
Yeah.
At your press conference with Deontay Wilder, you turned around and said to him, don't let me catch a case, or something like that you said. Do you remember saying that? Yeah?
Yeah, I remember saying that.
Right. Now, my wife said that to me the other day. My wife's American. Now, my wife said it to me the other day, don't let me catch a case. So I said, oh, where did I hear that before? And I remembered you saying it. So, yeah. So, trust me, when your wife's saying it to you, be concerned.
Yeah, you should be concerned, especially from your wife.
So Bermane, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Every time I've called you, if you're not busy, you've been available for an interview, and I really appreciate that.
No problem. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, champ.
Thank you.